Hey y'all, hey, it's Galanda V, and welcome back and welcome to our mental health series for Mental Health Month, this month of May 2025. This month, I said, I am going to do it. I'm always saying I'm going to do something special, something different for Mental Health Awareness Month, and I fall off. So I am putting the pressure on myself, and we are going to do it. If you are new here, my name is Galanda B. I'm an emotional awareness coach dedicated to helping you understand and manage your emotions through mindfulness, enabling you to experience greater joy and peace in your life. So, today we are talking about feel it to free it. Yes, emotions and what they mean to you and in your life, right? So, a lot of times, especially as women, we are taught to suppress, right, emotions. And emotions are not the enemy, right? Emotions are not morals, they're data. And today we're going to talk about how acknowledging, having an awareness about our emotions, how this can help support us in our mental health journey. So, what are emotions? Emotions are energy plus information. They're pieces of data that you can use to then make other decisions. They are not moral, as I mentioned earlier. This means that emotions are not good and they are not bad. They simply are. Okay? They are pieces of information. Your emotions stem from your nervous system, your past experiences, and your current experiences. It's all of that mixed up together. Emotions tell you something about what's going on with you. So, for example, anxiety may be a signal that you have a need for some additional or more safety, right? If you get angry, this might be a sign that a boundary is being crossed, right? If you're sad, this might be a signal that you have some unmet or unresolved feelings that you need to work with, right? So keep in mind that emotions are simply energy plus information. So many of us, male and female alike, have been taught to suppress our emotions. I can say, as a Black woman, it's almost a survival tactic in many cases. But the lesson to suppress the emotions does not fall solely with Black women. It can fall with any gender identification, any culture, right? And why it backfires to not acknowledge your emotions is because when you don't acknowledge it, that energy gets stored in your body, right? And then now it can show up physically, physiologically. It's just no good to have it stored and set down in your physical self. Okay. Um, Avoidance of your emotions results in buildup. And just like nature, buildup can sometimes explode, right? And we don't want that. Okay. This is why avoiding emotions is not going to work out for you. Okay. Many of us were taught to toughen up, suck it up, right? Think positively, um, hold it together, especially if you're a woman or a caregiver. And in my own personal experience as a Black woman, right? You're told to be strong, you're supposed to be unbothered. And I feel like I'm top tier in the category of unbothered. However, suppressing, avoiding, and ignoring emotion is not only bad for your mental health, it's bad for your physical health. Okay? When we avoid these emotions, they show up in other ways: overwhelm, exhaustion, muscle tension, going off on people, that angry Black woman, right? That could be a sign of suppressed emotions spilling out, right? Um, what we don't want to do is not have control of the release of these emotions, right? The fact of the matter is, when you resist, it persists. What this means is, when you avoid what's front and center, it's going to stay front and center. Okay? When you feel it, it flows. Okay? When you feel it, you can free it. But when you avoid it, resist, it's stagnant. Who wants to be backed up emotionally? You don't want to be backed up physically, physiologically. You surely don't want to be backed up emotionally, right? Even naming the emotion, simply identifying it, has shown through neuroscience to shift your energy. Remembering that emotions are just energy plus information. Emotions that are acknowledged can move. When we do not allow our awareness to fall on our emotions, then they are stagnant. And we want them to be dynamic. This is not something that I'm making up. This is neuroscience. It is studied and factual that to feel it is to free it, and to hold it is to store it, and it's backed up. And who likes to be backed up, right? Nobody. So, what do we do to manage our emotional lessons? There are three distinct ways that you can start to practice, right? Dealing with these variety of emotions you may be experiencing. One is to name it, right? Just hit it straight on. I am feeling angry. I am feeling disappointed. I am feeling joyful. I am feeling elated. I am feeling livid. Name the emotion so that it can be identified. And once identified, then you can have the space and make a choice of what to do with the emotion. Another thing you can do is ask questions about it. What is this emotion trying to tell me? And I alluded to this a little bit earlier in what an emotion may signal, right? So if I am feeling angry, it could mean a boundary is being broken, right? Or overstepped. But anger could also be a signal of fear, right? It is that fight or flight. In this case, it would be fight response to something, right? Disappointment is a signal that expectations have gone unmet, right? So asking the question, what is this emotion trying to tell me? And then, of course, my favorite way to deal with emotions is with a pause. Simply taking a step back, virtually, not really, from what's going on taking a breath to give yourself space, one, to allow the emotion to move through you, or to allow yourself space to see a different side or perspective of that emotion, right? So, giving yourself a pause is a tool to allow space to have a different perspective about the emotions that you are feeling. Now, given some tools, you might say, okay, that's all in my mind. What else can I do? It's always good to have some moment of reflection with journaling or maybe even audio journaling. I found that to work better for me than written. So in your reflection, you might consider, what emotions am I avoiding and what is that trying to teach me? Right? What emotions am I avoiding? That's the first part. And when you do this without judgment. This is part of our mindfulness practice, right? You are simply saying, I'm noticing I'm feeling these things and I have been trying to suppress it, sidestep it, or avoid it. So, what am I avoiding in terms of my emotions? And once you have that listed, then come to it with curiosity. What is this trying to teach me? What is the lesson that I'm supposed to get from experiencing this emotion? Emotions are not a problem that need fixing. You know, if you are of the African American background, you have heard the fix your face as your emotions show up in your stature, but there's not something to fix. They are messages to be paid attention to, listened to, and evaluated, right? So let me know in the comments, what emotions are you making space for, right? And if you don't want in the comments, you're welcome to DM me as well. But what emotions are you going to make space for? Until the next time, bye bye.